Welcome, Chiefs Kingdom. Thanks for tuning in to this Red Kingdom Media production, bringing you raw, authentic Chiefs coverage. Make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on your team. Now sit back and enjoy the show.
Welcome to this Welcome to this edition of the Home of the Chiefs podcast, where the Chiefs are our home. We are your hosts, Clinton and Shannon, for this pre-Christmas episode of Home of the Chiefs podcast, as the Chiefs play on Christmas Day. So we will be there at Arrowhead for Christmas Day itself, and then I will be back here in this very spot to record the post-game show soon after. Dale was talking about trying to make that a short one. We'll see how short that game is based on how much people got to say. I mean, if some people aren't very happy, they might be trying to push that post-game show for a long time.
Make it like 2 hours.
Trying to get everybody's feedback on it, which would be, just perfect. What a great way to finish Christmas. No, you want to get in, get the dub.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really care how you got it, and get home so you can finish the rest of your day with your family and your friends, or whoever you're spending your Christmas day with.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and showcase what we got in today's. So today's topics go as following. Winning ugly. So we know the Chiefs were able to beat the Patriots 27-17, but we know that it was still not the best game offensively, and thankfully, based on the team the Chiefs were playing, they were most likely escaping that game as long as they didn't make 5 mistakes like against the Broncos. But they were able to do just enough to win. And the receiving issues continue to show up. We've seen Sky Moore go to injury reserve, so he's not going to play for at least the rest of the regular season. Kadarius Toney has had back-to-back weeks of being one of the storylines for a mistake for the Chiefs instead of a highlight. And then the Chiefs are bringing in either some past players from exemption lists like Justin Ross, or bringing players in for more touches like Richie James, or past Matt Nagy players like an Anthony Miller. So basically the wide receivers are still getting shuffled around, and we got to see how that ends up equaling out at the end, because we keep trying to judge it on what it could be, and we keep judging it for what it already is. But of course we have higher expectations, so hoping some players take a step up from there as well. Rice is nice, so we're loving some Rashee Rice around here.
Yes,
both in this household, throughout the Red Kingdom media crew itself, and the Kingdom of Chiefs Kingdom as a whole. But he's not just looking good in Chiefs standards, not just for Chiefs players' perspective. I mean, he's on pace for rookie wide receiver record for the Chiefs in terms of yards and in terms of touchdowns, around the Dwayne Bowe category. And let alone that his stats are like on par with Tyreek Hill when it comes to the yards after the catch. So we're going to kind of gloat about what we've already seen with Rashee Rice, and how we feel like the offense is kind of trusting him more and more, and kind of the fruits that are bearing because of those efforts. Then, based on the first topic, it's going to also lead into the conversation of playoff problems. So, those issues that can kill drives, or those mistakes and penalties that kill the Chiefs' drives and chance for points. As we know, the playoffs are becoming much tighter part of the season, where every mistake hurts you the most and you need to take every opportunity you see. So we're going to have the conversation whether that is looking like it could be fixed, or do we need to continue the expectations of what we're seeing already. And then last but not least, we've got a Christmas Day noon kickoff at Arrowhead Stadium against the Las Vegas Raiders. And the Las Vegas Raiders looked very good in their last performance, putting up more than 60 points.
Yeah, wow.
So we'll discuss whether that team has some juice, or whether the Red Kingdom is going to paint them all red and shut them up and tell them to celebrate Christmas. But not only that, but then we're going to also transition that conversation into just kind of the pairing of Christmas and the Chiefs. For
Chiefsmas.
As long as we can really remember either Christmas Eve or day, or somewhere within those 2 days, the Chiefs are playing at Arrowhead, or some pairing between Christmas and Chiefs. So the two of us are going to talk about how that pairing has kind of happened and what it means to have that almost dedicated time that is Chiefs, that's kind of chunked out of Christmas, and how people are kind of dealing and going around that subject.
Yeah,
because this is more of a recent type of thing. The NFL has not always been on
a Christmas
or more like very holiday based game. Yeah, there's always been Thanksgiving. That's been for things since the 50s. But then every other sport has kind of tried to take away a period of time, or a calendar period, to showcase and make their thing. So the NFL is just now, over the last few years, starting to capitalize on that. So we're going to talk about how that has impacted our lives, and maybe that's impacted some of y'all as well. So that being said, before we get into the first topic, go ahead and leave a like and follow us on all our social media platforms at Red Kingdom Media. Give us 5 stars on Spotify, and subscribe to us on YouTube, or wherever else you get your podcasts and video entertainment. We do short form. We do some video essays. We're looking into trying to do some article and blog posts of our own as well. So if you like us and want to hear what we've got to say, either verbally or written wise, go ahead and give us a shout out and follow us. So, win and ugly. The Chiefs won, thankfully.
Finally.
It was against a bad team, so at no part did I really feel nervous, like they were fully going to lose. Like they would eventually realize they had to take them seriously for maybe 7 minutes of the game. And then once they did that, felt like they were fine, put it in neutral, and just kind of coast the rest of the way. Didn't care if they were going to win by 14 or 17 or 10 or whatever. It's like once they had the lead, they were pretty much shrugs.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't too big of a deal. I didn't feel too nervous about it. I was just kind of watching what happened, and there were a couple mistakes, and we'll talk about those, but it was all in all, not a very nerve-wracking game, which I'm glad.
because it was kind of what every game has been like so far.
Yeah.
And they were just thankful enough to play against a bad offense where your defense really did not have to do much until the offense kept putting them in bad places, which has been also the second half of the story of the season. The defense looks great. The offense chooses to have their troubles.
Yeah.
And then that puts the defense in situations that makes it hard for them to come out on top. And usually they don't in those cases. So, 17 points, you would have said that's way too much. But the fact that they got more than 2 drives pretty much within scoring territory already because of the offense turning the ball over. That's going to happen no matter how bad, quote, a team is. Like, if you keep giving teams enough chances, they'll get one right. So that's what happened. And, maybe they were underestimating the team a little bit, didn't hold them in enough regard to take them seriously. Whatever the case is, I don't want to make projections or insult anybody, but we'll get into it more in the later topic. But you can't afford to do this against teams you feel like are at least at your level, because this team this season has already been caught several times by teams that on paper you would have said the Chiefs should win.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs do whatever they do to make a mistake and not win.
Yeah.
So it's tough because you look at the remainder of the schedule and you say, well, we're playing backup quarterbacks. What does it matter? And I find that to be like the scariest part, because it's so unpredictable. It's like so frantic, fuel on the fire type deal, where you can't predict anything. And so you have to treat it as if it is to be taken seriously.
Exactly.
You can't afford to keep underestimating your opponents like this to get in larger holes. And against the wrong teams, you're going to get caught. And the goal is the Super Bowl, and you're going to come up short.
Yep.
And it won't be on us because we've foreseen this. But it's an issue because it's not always the same player or person or play or something like that. It's not always one thing you can pinpoint as the problem every single time, eliminate it, and the problem stop.
Yeah.
It's some new problem keeps appearing the next week. Maybe it's related to somebody who's already shown one, and maybe it's brand new. But it always seems to keep stirring up, keeps appearing.
Yeah.
There's no making it not happen. At some point, the team will go from so loose to tightening up and figuring them out to so tight.
Yeah.
And it's that loose, too loose and too tight period where they just can't help themselves. So I don't know what they need to do to get focused to stay within that middle gear, but they've shown they can win games forthcoming.
Right.
They can beat out teams when they set their mind to it.
Right. They can do it.
The defense will play well And then if the offense is complementary to that, then both sides win versus one side always kind of putting in a little more effort than the other side.
Yep.
So obviously the Kadarius Toney fumble that turns into an interception. Like Bell gets a ball thrown to him and lets the defender take it away. So Mahomes is still frustrated. I've seen the clips.
Yep.
And it had nothing to do with referees this time. So need some new blood. And I think that's why some people are excited about these moves that aren't really moves, because they're trying to find some complementary piece. But the thing that we all can agree on is that we have our main dish sorted out already.
We do.
Because we can always eat more rice.
Yes.
Because rice is nice. Rashee Rice, every game now, he's putting on a performance. Every week, people are saying, oh, he could get to 1,000 yards if he just gets this, and people don't assume. He's getting close to 100 yards or more every game now, getting close to 10 receptions.
Yeah.
So it's clear the coaching staff likes him.
Yeah, it's clear they see in him there's something special.
It was early on there was seeing it, but now it's like, oh, you're that guy.
Yeah.
So here you go. Here's everything that, maybe some other players were expected to get, and they aren't. And we can feel some type of way about that. But for now, it's focused on Rashee Rice looks like a very good NFL receiver.
He really does.
So he's on par with a Dwayne Bowe for the Chiefs in terms of touchdowns and receiving yards as a rookie, and Andy Reid offense, where you will get on the field if you're good and can bring on something, but to be trusted to do different things, that's a whole nother step, and it's shown already that they have that trust in Rashee. So that's already very exciting to see in itself. But also the fact that he compares very well to other NFL receivers. He's as good, if not the best, of the rookie wide receivers in his class. He's on par with yards after the catch as a Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
And if Tyreek isn't playing every game now for dealing with some injuries, there's a chance that Rashee could catch up to that total and Tyreek's goes down because of that. So to think that the beginning of the season, Rashee Rice was going to be it, I think we were kind of projecting that was would happen and would be the best. But now to actually see it happen, and it's not a fluke, it's not couple games and then fall off.
Exactly. He's been consistent.
It's very clear that this is a good choice, and several productions under the Red Kingdom media tree has basically been maybe this is the new formula of players to play around Mahomes that fits the skill set.
Yeah.
Good to have somebody fast and stuff, but to have a sure-handed guy that maybe could break the big game, but you trust to get the big play in the big yards, that's been huge. And Rashee's not been perfect. He's had his drops. He's had the most drops on the team.
Well, he's a rookie.
But everyone else has somewhere between 1 and 5 and 6 themselves. But they've already been in this offense for a while.
Yeah.
It's not the pressure of now being in the NFL for the first time in your career.
Yeah.
So he's handled his the stress of the NFL and stardom and the studying.
Yeah.
He's handled all of that like as good as a rookie could, and like just to hear that, yeah, he's on pace as like a Dwayne Bowe.
Mm-hmm.
That you're like, wow, that's crazy. Because
yeah, that's amazing.
you look at his stats and they're great, and you just think, wow, this could be more too. Because
Mm-hmm.
the beginning of the season definitely looked like training wheels were on, and now they're starting to come off a little bit.
Yeah.
But like next year, that is going to be like a big indicator of like how much of him they think of him.
Right.
Because to put him in that receiver spot right away, to give him the big plays, to say you're going to get over 1,000 yards and it's going to be easy. Either you're going to get 100 yards in 10 catches, or you're going to get 3 and you're going to get a long play touchdown, because
Yeah.
people are going to not know how to play against our offense now that we've kind of shifted our focus.
Mm-hmm.
So, boy, we could just gloat on him
Yeah, we really could.
for a whole show in itself. Such a good name, such a good pun, but that's not the main point.
Yeah.
Main point is he's the youngest on the team, and yet looks like he has the most chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
Which, in this context, to end this segment, we're going to be very positive
about.
and be good for you, Rashee.
Mm-hmm.
You've shown that you are like worth your draft stock, blah, blah, blah. You have the capabilities, you have the mental capability, you have all of that. You are fit for the NFL, and the team is very happy to have you.
Mm-hmm.
And then all that being said, playoff problems. Everyone else around Rashee is not living up to expectations.
Oh, they're not doing great.
So the running backs have done their part. And at first we thought it was only Pacheco, but now we've seen the offensive line and any running back you put there, at least the group we have can do their job. I'm saying any running back can, but I'm saying any group of the Chiefs' current running backs can get the job done.
Yeah.
And Pacheco being back for this Raiders game, which it sounds like he will be,
good,
leads even more into that, heck yeah, run it down their throats, screen pass them to death. Use your running back if he's one of your best weapons.
Yeah.
And Rashee and Travis aren't open, then give it to them, and no one's going to think that you're not being smart, not taking advantage of defenses, not doing the big play, whatever the case. People understand, no, that is the play that's going to just rip apart defenses.
Yeah.
And we're trying to score every drive if we can, coach.
Yep.
So, alluded to it a little bit at the beginning of the show, brought in some new / fresh faces in the receiving room to account for some that have been out or are just out now. Sky Moore. So it's clear that the team has needed some fresh juice in some way for the offense to, take this next step, have some other quality besides what they have that makes defenses start to account for it. Like, you can't be so one or two dimensional that the team can do this and everything falls apart. The Patriots really focused on Travis, and he didn't get as much as he'd want. Thankfully, that team, being who they are, we were fine finding other people and escaping that game. But if the game plan is always find and feed it to Travis, and they finally stopped that, and it's a team that is as good as you
Mhm.
on offense and defense, then you've got to worry about that. And
Yeah.
you've got to make sure you're using all the best plays.
Yep.
And we all can say now that giving it to the running back, finding the running back is a good play.
Mhm.
Rashee Rice is always a good play.
Yep. If he's open.
Like either in front of or behind the sticks. This guy, he's taking, just screen passes, the first downs constantly. It just moved the chains, just Mr. Dependable now.
Yeah.
Rookie Rashee Rice is Mr. Dependable.
Yep.
And so you just need those groups to maintain. Travis can be hit or miss and get fired up or go hidden, and it lets the team do well in his place, and he won't care if he doesn't get to start him. The team wins, and he can celebrate with his teammate doing something amazing, then he's going to do that.
Yeah.
But I think some part of the kingdom was and keep expecting some sort of move, but there's not going to be some giant shift within this season. The team is made up how it is.
Yeah.
And it's up to playing the right players at the right time. It's clear some are kind of fading or lacking trust, and others are maintaining or gaining trust. And it's just about trying to raise all the trust levels from every player.
Yeah.
To go into the playoffs, because the rest of the season, maybe they can have that mentality that they can just make it through these last games because they think less or think with the backup quarterbacks and the state of the teams that they might be inferior, but these are professionals just like them. And this team has been caught so many times. So I just keep begging and praying to them that they stop taking any player, team, whoever, lightly.
Yeah, whoever.
Everybody is basically Tom Brady and the best coach ever.
Yeah.
The team's the best player ever. You've got to be that determined to overcome the issues that have presented the Chiefs this season so far, and has shown in past seasons in different variations. Some seasons they've overcome it, and other seasons it's ultimately bitten them at the end.
Yep.
So history will show whether or not they overcame those issues or those same issues are their downfall and were their downfall the whole season, and it was blind of the team to not see issues that people like us and others in the kingdom could identify. So
that makes sense.
So here's to the last 3 weeks of the season. Don't take it off. Make sure you're focused, because we got a big game here this week. Do we not?
I'm so excited.
So we got a Monday, New Year, Christmas Day game at One Arrowhead Drive, where they take on the Las Vegas Raiders. So, the Raiders are probably pretty happy with themselves. They put up 63 points against the Chargers and got their coach fired.
Yep.
They were able to score 17 against the Chiefs a few weeks back in Vegas. But the Chiefs were able to come back angry, get to over 30 points and win that game. So this segment being broken into two. The first one being just matchup wise. what are you kind of expecting out of this game against the Raiders?
Well, I know the Raiders are really going to want to try and beat us because it's going to be a game, like a very big game that a lot of people are going to be watching, and it's going to be at Arrowhead, and they're always like really competitive with us, so they're always going to want to beat us really bad.
So it's not like the big Christmas game, but there's 3 games on Christmas Day, and the Chiefs are the first game of Christmas. So I have to kick it off right.
Yeah, exactly. They got to win. They got to pull out the win. I think they will.
I'm on that fence too. I just don't think we're going to be like as thrilled about it the whole time.
I think it'll be close.
My brain's kind of picturing another like Chargers type game this season where it was pretty much they were tied or up by the Chiefs were up by
one
score the whole time.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, okay, we got to keep being loud to make sure the defense holds.
Yeah, it's going to be defensive.
So,
yeah.
I think the Raiders, because their home stadium is never like loud or anything like that. Because you'll get plenty of Chiefs fans in Vegas and several other teams. So the stadium itself has got to be loud. It's like they're used to away. But there still seems to be that mystique of Arrowhead. And especially with it being Christmas, the day of red, so to say. Bring red snow. No, I'm just kidding. But just you assume like, oh, it's the holiday, maybe the Chiefs won't take it seriously, but I think this is when it like becomes really official. Like,
yeah, I feel like they've got to take it seriously now.
Like the Super Bowl is essentially like a month and a half from this point on.
Wow.
If you play and win every game you're in. So I think if they're taking it from that approach, they see this team as they would any other team they see in the postseason, is study them, treat them seriously, believe you got to put your entire effort and determination and focus into winning this game, defeating this opponent, so that you can then quickly lose all concentration on the game you just played and focus all your attention on the very next team that comes up and rinse repeat.
Yep.
And like they have the coaches and the players who've shown capabilities of like getting that accomplished. So it's like who do we get to point the finger at? It can't just be a blame game.
No.
It's got to be every player hold themselves accountable, even if you didn't make the bad play. It's somehow on you. That's the like humble mentality you have to have if you want to complete the season with a championship.
Yeah,
and I truly believe that they do. So
I think they do. Yeah,
I honestly feel that they had just taken a little too long to really take it seriously and approach their flaws as humans. But it seems like at least it's happening now. It's not all smiles and everything's fine, we'll figure it out.
Like, yeah, it's not like, oh, brush it under the rug.
They're more determined. They're more focused. They're more driven to say we're not happy with just the way we are.
Yeah.
We know that we can perform better. So there's no more, mistaking this. It's time to do whatever measures are deemed necessary to complete this season.
Yep.
As you set the season out to do. So the Raiders, are just the team in front of them. They've played very well over recent weeks. They're clearly a team trying to play for their coach.
Mhm.
But the Chiefs have better players throughout their team.
Yep.
So if the team plays as good as the team can, they should beat the Raiders by at least a touchdown or more. I
Mhm.
really believe that.
Yeah.
There's no reason this team
Can't do that.
can't hold the Raiders to under 3 touchdowns and score
Yeah.
4 or so touchdowns on their own. At this point, right now in the season, those should be the expectations.
Yeah.
So we're back around, baby. That's how we started the season. And we've had to have our offensive expectations drop.
Mhm.
And now I'm right back up. This is what we've got to do. I truly believe if we can hit those type of numbers, that we can get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Cool. Well, I would love that. I'd love back-to-back Super Bowls.
Same here. So, the other half of the Christmas at Arrowhead segment. Christmas and Chiefs. Pretty much for as long as you and I have known each other and associated, Chiefs have been either Christmas Eve or day or some attachment to Christmas.
Yeah.
Which wasn't a thing in our childhoods because it was like by Christmas time or New Year's, the season ends.
Mhm.
Period.
Yeah.
Now it goes past January and everything's mid to end of January and Super Bowls in February and so on.
Yep.
So this is like a new phenomenon for us, the like Chiefs to Christmas combination we've got. So like, how do you feel about that in general?
I think it's interesting. Like, it kind of worked out this year because my family wasn't really going to plan to get together, but we always normally plan to get together on Christmas Day. And I know that you like to get together with your family, and I know a lot of other people like to do the same thing. So it's just kind of strange if you have season tickets to be there instead of like with family. But this year I'm okay with it because it was kind of planned like that anyway, like we already knew. But I feel like if you were just like going to the game and you didn't really plan it and you were kind of just like, oh yeah, I'm going, like, I don't know, it kind of is like strange that it's on Christmas. And I feel like Christmas Eve is a cool thing because we had that one Christmas Eve game that we went to, and that was cool. That was really fun. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the players and coaches and stuff really probably hate it too. Not hate it, but like they're probably like, oh, I wish I was with my family.
I'm not sure how the teams themselves feel, because I mean, if Christmas was on Sundays every year, they'd be playing on Christmas no matter what because it's a Sunday.
Yeah.
So to be like day of the week makes it that, oh yeah, Christmas is on this day.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts to make that like discussion a little difficult, but
yeah, I like scheduling.
But you know, I'm growing used to it. It's a way to like put everything in perspective in a way. To like savor every moment you have.
Yeah.
A lot of people during Christmas time are speeding through stuff and
True.
going to one place to go to one place to see 5 minutes somewhere else. And Chiefs games are always about slowing down, appreciating everything, the slow build up, the pregame, the game, the kickoff, the anthem, all of that. Like, so I think it likes that because it maybe for some people the winter Christmas season isn't as teary, happy,
Yeah, like
and
happy.
everything. So I like that it gives this like slowed down traditional feeling for
Mhm.
maybe people who don't have traditions, or
Yeah.
maybe some who love traditions, and now this is just a new
new one.
tradition that they add to their list of traditions.
Yeah,
Everybody does things
that is true.
a little differently. So it won't always be the case. And I'm sure there's going to be times where the NFL decides the Chiefs should play Christmas and it's not in Arrowhead.
Mhm.
And just in very recent times, it seemed to have been there or right at that period of the year.
Yeah.
So it won't always happen, but I'm just thinking how lucky that it is that it has been happening around here, and you get to have those memories.
Mhm.
And it's like, it's a Christmas memory. Oh, and it's also a Chiefs memory.
Yeah, that is true. That
So
is fun.
we had taken my niece to that game a couple
Yup.
years ago on Christmas Eve when they
Yeah, it was fun.
beat the Steelers by a lot. So, you know, get to experiencing those holidays around sports. Sometimes it's nice because it allows you to just kind of take a step back and
Mhm.
not be focused so much on the next thing, the next event,
Yeah.
the next plate of food.
Oh, I've got to go get presents, and what do I
the
gotta
next
get?
thing, like, it tries to get you to slow down and appreciate everything in front of you and
Mhm.
acknowledge the hard work and dedication that you put into things,
Yeah.
and appreciate it, and let yourself be blessed by it, and don't take it for granted.
Mhm.
And yeah, just enjoy that period of time for what it is, where it's always hustle and bustle. Make sure to always, divert and say, this is the time where you do the most reflection, you do the least amount of things,
True.
you do nothing but reflect on the good,
Mhm.
dish out the bad, give as much as you can, and that's what this season is all about.
Yeah.
Blessings.
This time of year. Yeah, I like that.
So I know some diehards don't like that combination. But what's always happening during Thanksgiving? You got 20 guys in a room. They're not. You gotta have something to keep
Yeah,
going.
exactly. You got to have the game on.
Something to be there. If it draws people together, it doesn't hurt
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
exist that way.
Yeah.
So I'm done lamenting on Christmas and stuff.
Me too. I'm for it. I like it. It's just kind of strange at times.
Well, I think that about wraps up our episode for this week. So I'm going to ask you all to like and subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Red Kingdom Media. Rate us 5 stars on Spotify if you like your podcast there. We're on every social media site at Red Kingdom Media. Whatever you like to partake in, we're there. If it's Chiefs, we're there. If you're in the conversation, we're there. It's been very fun last few weeks. Red Kingdom Media itself has done quite a bit, and we're just kind of in a very proud parent type of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Beaming ear to ear, just appreciating the effort that we've already put in and the effort that is ahead of us, and nothing but excitement for us all.
Yep.
So
It's very exciting.
To be accompaniment here, we already had an episode of the Chiefin podcast come out. So if you want to check that out, you can do so here. We already had our post game for the Pats on Sunday, and then also I've done my Holy Chiefs breakdown earlier this week, if you want to go back that far. But other than that, we will be back later this weekend with an episode of the Extra Point series. Thinking most likely Saturday night, maybe Sunday morning drop, depending on how that goes. But yeah, it's going to be a very exciting week into the weekend for us all, into a Monday night or Monday afternoon. Not night. I know you want to think Monday night, but it's Christmas, so Christmas changes everything. So that just sums it up all right there.
Yep.
Thank you all for joining us for this episode of Home and Cheese Podcast. I hope you have a great rest of your week and weekend, and up to Christmas Day. Go Chiefs!
Thanks for checking out this update straight from the heart of Chiefs Kingdom. We appreciate your passion, so please leave a like and follow us wherever you tune in from. See you next tailgate, your trusted source for all things Chiefs, Red Kingdom.